Hello and welcome to Indie Tuesdays on Indie Comic Ninja. I'm your host, Ben Dupay.
I'm Andrew Southern.
Ramondo Burnside.
Ariel Dupay.
And we are your independent comic book ninjas, I guess. I'm used to Overlords from NCR. So How's everyone doing this week?
Doing all right.
Good.
Yeah? Good week for comics?
Busy week, man.
Yeah.
Busy week for everything. Just craziness. I don't know. How about you guys? You guys do anything special?
I did my taxes, all that fun stuff.
Tax season.
My week was full of like things I have to get done. Yeah, like
adult stuff.
Yeah. My wife is gone in Arizona this week, and so she left me in charge, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta get all my stuff done so the house isn't burnt down when she gets back or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's what would happen if I was like it would just be a disaster, I think. Yeah, man, I was busy too. I actually read all the books pretty shortly before this episode because I had to work at Mayhem early this morning, and I didn't realize the time change thing was happening until last minute yesterday, and so it was like, shit, man.
They need to get rid of that already, right?
It sucks.
They've been talking about it.
Yeah,
they want to so bad. I mean, I was up till 3 last night. Now I realized I was like, oh, it's not really 3, it's fucking 4.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man.
It was supposed to help farmers.
Yeah.
But I guess farmers are like, it doesn't help anymore.
Yeah. Like maybe 80 years ago, and
it's
helped,
an old
but
thing.
It messes up the animals too. Milking the cows, they're off schedule, so they don't get enough milk.
Oh, really?
I was reading about it today.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man. Yeah, it sucks, dude. It's
just
not
one of
cool.
those antiquated things that we still do that it's we stopped thinking about why we do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's time to reassess that, I think.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's I don't know. Yeah, I woke up this morning and had work at Mayhem and kind of rushed through that to get done in time to read comic books, and then I got to read more comic books for another podcast later tonight. So.
Isn't it crazy though how even just reading a few you read a lot more than us, but even just reading a few comic books becomes difficult to do during your week. You don't think about because it doesn't take that much time, but when you just take a step back and look at it,
I don't know. I mean, I always block out an hour or two before the show that I'm doing to read. I normally read all the DC comics literally right before the show.
Yeah.
So it'll take me an hour and a half, and I'll read probably 8 or 9 comic books.
Yeah.
In this show, I'll read a graphic novel and 3 comic books, and it'll take me an hour. So.
Oh yeah,
that's not
but
bad.
You kind of have to put that time aside. You know
do.
what I mean?
Yeah, you absolutely.
I usually do Friday nights.
I call that free time rationing.
Yeah, it totally is. Right?
I mean, at any given time, okay, I got some free. Your wife's gonna be gone, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's things that you probably want to do. Okay, when she's here, I don't get to do this as much because we're hanging out. I'm gonna get into some music. I'm gonna do this.
Seriously.
And it's you want to do everything, but it's you got to ration it out. How much time am I gonna put into watching some shows and catching up, and then I'm gonna play this game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out with my buddy. We're gonna go to the gym. It's
Man, honestly, I had to. So I finally watched Logan. I think y'all both.
What'd you think?
It was
Oh
great.
my gosh, it was incredible.
Finally.
This is my favorite comic book movie.
Finally,
ever.
a gory Wolverine movie. That's the way it should have been from the jump.
It was great. But man, I went to the 10 o'clock show on Friday night because it was the only time I could actually go. But
2-hour movie though.
Dude,
so
that
you're
little
there till 12:30.
Yeah.
But I took my brother with me, and that little girl was a badass too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And she had the foot
claws.
Yeah. The on her foot.
That was awesome. I really like the choreography with her showing her flipping dudes and stuff.
Yeah.
That was just the coolest thing.
I really hope they do something with her more.
Well, and that's what I was thinking. So I know this is a little off topic, but I was wondering, was that movie her story or his story? Because as I started thinking about it, it felt more like her origin story than a story about
Logan. I think
Logan.
it's a passing of the torch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like.
I don't think there's currently not any plans to do anything with her.
Okay.
I thought it would be really cool to have a story about those kids, all those kids together, maybe fucking shit up.
Maybe since it was so well received, they'll want to do something.
They could do a new mutant story.
I think what they'll do is make her older and then bring, because she's X-23, they'll bring her into maybe X-Force with Deadpool and those guys possibly.
They could, because
Domino
Cable's
and
a
those guys.
time traveler. So
Yeah, so maybe
right.
she'll tie
Yeah.
into that somehow. I mean, if she's a well-received character, I mean, just flesh her out a bit more, make her a little older, like, the years have gone by, and show that she's been going through some shit, and, they could weave that right in there.
I really like that she didn't talk for the first half of the movie either, because, like, I didn't, like, when she finally did talk, it was just hilarious and awesome. Like, it was so great, man.
He's like,
Yeah.
shut up, stop talking.
Like, just rambling in Spanish.
But let me ask you this, though. How fucking sad were you, like, at the end? I was
Wait,
fighting
Oh
back
my
tears,
God, I
like,
cried.
when he...
I was
Can
ready
spoil
to,
it?
man.
Can I spoil? Can I say?
Yeah, well, we're spoiling Logan, so yeah, if you
don't want to hear this part, please just fast forward or pause it
Yeah.
or something. When he dies and he's on
Oh
that
my
tree,
gosh.
and she's like talking to him, and he's like, "Ugh," and he's like, I know what this feels like now. I was sitting there like,
And she's just like, Daddy,
I
Daddy.
know.
And it's like, oh,
yeah.
man.
And when he started saying the daddy part, that got me because, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have kids,
Thinking
and it's
about your
like,
daughter,
right?
I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting me. They got me like at the beginning of Up or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Totally,
I'm like, they
right?
did it to me.
And then,
Yeah.
like,
Or
when
at the
she...
beginning of Last of Us.
Yeah,
she took
something.
she took the cross and laid it on the side for
That
X.
was
That
awesome.
was like,
That
I was
was-
like, what is she doing? I was like, oh,
That's like the perfect
that was
ending.
legit
Yeah.
move.
yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I know it's like a cliche guy thing to say, but I don't cry at movies because there's always that disconnect from reality for me.
Right.
But it made me like kind of emotional just in the sense that it's like in the end of an era, it's like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine,
Yeah.
he's gone.
You're closing the
and
chapter.
it's
Like, that's it.
That's like there's a lot of nostalgia there for me with him. Like, I mean, he was like probably one of the first comic book movies I ever saw, and I mean,
Yeah.
he was born to play that role.
I
so-
totally agree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even just like the way he scowls, in his
Yeah,
face,
man.
his anger, like face lines,
The
and
way he
stuff.
talks
and
and
the way like the furrowed brow is like
Yeah.
he was perfect.
Yeah, he was, man. He's like Robert Downey Jr. is with Iron Man. He's
Exactly.
just the perfect person
Or,
for that role.
Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
at Deadpool.
that's what. See, I was
Yeah.
talking with my dad and we were both. That's what he compared him to was Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Like they're just made for the role.
Yeah. I'm excited for Fox. I don't know. I've always liked X-Men a little more than I like Avengers. Not the movies, just the idea of, because
Yeah.
like there's the whole like civil rights parallels with X-Men that happened like back when they were writing the comics,
Totally.
and I think there's some cool like real life parallels that can go beyond the 80s and into like become relevant to now, in this
Oh, yeah.
time, and they could play more with that. So it's like, I don't know, that's a little cooler to me than like Avengers. I don't know, Avengers are still awesome, but yeah, I've always liked
And
it.
yeah, because I grew up like an X-Men kid,
Yeah.
but like watching the movies, I was like the Avengers movies more, just because I thought they were just written
better
and produced
done,
better.
yeah.
But the Logan was finally
Yeah.
to the point where I was like, this is because it kind of had that Daredevil like Netflix like reality, like when he fights those cholos at the beginning, and like they're just busting up each other. Like I
Yeah.
was like that. It had that real element in it.
It reminded me of it was a Western for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like
Old Country for No Country for Old Men.
That's
with
what I
mutants,
compared it to.
You know what I mean?
I said it reminded me a lot of No Country for Old Men.
Just the way it was
actually.
shot, and
yeah,
just the location and everything.
And
I am an oil man. Like
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah, dude, that guy, the killer from that movie, freaks me the fuck out, man.
He was
That guy-
also a bad
Is that
guy.
the CO2 cartridge guy? Or is that a different?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a CO dude. That
Dude, it's
guy,
his haircut, man.
I forget his
It's-
name though, but he's the bad guy in like in one of the Bond
007,
movies,
yeah.
one of the more recent ones.
Oh, he wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was like
He
an
like
ex-
took out his
MI6
jaw in
agent.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good bad guy.
And
for sure.
yeah, oh yeah, he's a great actor. Yeah, man. And who else was in that? The guy from the guy from Men in Black was in it. Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he was really good in
I
it
liked him,
too.
too.
Yeah, he
He's
was
good at
awesome.
everything.
Yeah, he
Nice.
is. Yeah, I know you like him a lot, Ariel. So, cool. Well, yeah, that Logan gets 5 stars from me, though. Man, that was hands down my favorite comic book film ever made. I think
Top
it was,
5 for me.
I
Not
think
my
it-
favorite.
Yeah.
Top 5.
What goes over it for you? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. I mean, partially it might be rose tinted glasses for me because I love Deadpool so much. So I love that one. So I'd put that up there. No particular order. I would say Deadpool, Logan, Civil War will go in there somewhere. Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't know what the other one would be just yet. I can't
See,
think.
for me, like the only I'm just talking about like as far as film critique goes, like what was a better film technically.
okay.
Like I think like Dark Knight probably is up there with it.
I agree.
And, I think Captain America, Winter Soldier was up there with it. Like, those fight scenes were really well done.
Yeah.
And a lot of the fight scenes in Logan were like quick cuts. They cut away a lot, and in Winter Soldier they didn't do that.
I like the fights in the Winter Soldier. They were really good. Like when they were fighting at the end, and they're like by that van, he like stabs a knife and then drags it along.
Yeah, like at the
bridge. A lot of
bridge.
boxing was in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was getting into that. I was like, I need to go to the gym now.
Right?
Hit the bag for a little bit.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
No, the only thing with Logan is it kind of had that Western feel of like slower pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes as an audience member, like watching that, you can start thinking about what you're watching. Where like you don't have time to think in like the Winter
Civil
Soldier.
War,
Yeah,
like
Civil
that.
War,
It's just so much going on at all times. Your eyes just don't have time to process. It's like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's nice. Look at that.
And it's just like total ADD. Yeah.
It's like it's like a kid going to a carnival. You just look around everywhere. Let's do this.
That's the thing about like movies like that is sometimes it can be sort of a novelty. Like Civil War, the reason it's not up there with movies like Logan for me is because it was like definitely amazing, but it was more of just a novelty of like seeing like, oh shit, Spider-Man's in the same place as Iron Man. Oh shit, they're all fighting
That's
together.
what it was for me. That was a takeaway for me. It was just like, I don't know, me being a 37-year-old man, it was like, it took me back to being like, a 12-year-old kid for a minute. It's like, I love all these guys and they're finally together. I never thought I'd be alive long enough to see this happen,
Yeah, and that was awesome, but like, Logan was more genuinely just like a well-made film.
Yeah.
It was contained
the
in
adult
itself,
part of me
like,
loved that.
But I think it's also just like it's almost genre bending with Logan because it's not just like a majority of comic book movies are just action movies. And that's what they are. That's what you expect. But Logan wasn't. I mean, there was action in it definitely, but it's almost like a drama or something like that.
Oh yeah, I call Civil War like a superhero movie. I call Logan like a comic book film. Like and to me those are two separate things.
I think what you're getting at too is that when you're watching, like, let's say Civil War, you're waiting for the next fight scene to come.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally waiting for, like, okay, when's the next big action scene?
Yeah.
But with Logan, I felt like I enjoyed the movie, and when the fight scenes came, they were just the cherry on top. Because the movie was that good, and I followed it enough, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like, when are they going to fight again? When's he going to cut somebody's face off? You know what I mean? I wasn't doing that. I was just engrossed in it, so.
They gave you plenty of that, too. So
finally. I was like, he's fucking stabbing people up the face.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Like, what do we think of that Deadpool film at the beginning of it?
I loved it.
It was awesome.
I'm so excited. I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
There's one they didn't show in the theaters where Stan Lee pops up.
He's like, I love your outfit.
Yeah,
He's like, shut up, Stan Lee.
Yeah.
He called him out too.
He's like, shut the fuck up, Stan Lee, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that actually made me happy because I was hoping with Stan Lee's cameo in Deadpool that Deadpool would like acknowledge the fact that it was Stan Lee,
like break the fourth wall.
Movie.
Yeah,
but he didn't in the movie, and so like I like that they did that in that short film.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Welcome to the movie review podcast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was just
Quickly
about to
became
say
that, right?
probably get on to comic books here. So yeah, we should talk some comics. Let's see, what do we got?
Got
here?
Motor Crush.
Motor Crush number 4.
Let's talk about Motor Crush. That's cool.
Dive right into that one.
So Motor Crush number 4. Does anyone want to give what's this comic about?
Yeah, I can do
just
it.
do that. What's it
I'll
about?
dive in. So this one starts off with Dom's adopted father. It shows like a flashback. It's in black and white. He's driving down the road. Some guy careens towards him. He's like, hey, watch where you're going, asshole. The guy crashes. So he gets out of the Dom's adopted father or whatever. Her dad gets out of the car, checks up on the guy. The dude looks like he's dead. And there's a baby in the back seat. So it's a baby version of Dom. And there's a bunch of crush around her. And he takes her. And the more or less they do another flashback of Dom on the street from the previous book where the man in the black outfit with the helmet on and stuff, he's like talking to her saying, you're meant for more, these petty races you're racing, you don't even know what your potential is, and he gives a hint of who she is a little bit and that you need to dig deeper and stuff. So it shows a bit of that as a flashback. So then they bring it to the present. Dom's talking with her father, and she's asking, where do I come from? What's going on? Like, tell me something. And she shows him the crush, and he recognizes the symbol and gets really afraid. She recognizes that, presses more. He won't talk. So mainly this episode was just her trying to get answers. for where she comes from. Even Lola, her ex-girlfriend, pops up, to check up on her and see what's going on. And Dom, being, her normal stubborn self, pushes her away, doesn't want any help. And she's like, I've been trying to get in for, forever. You would never let me in, and so on. And so they have some dialogue there about their previous relationship and stuff. But ultimately, it just careens down this path of her trying to get more information about where she comes from. And the man in the black leather motorcycle suit pops up toward the end. I guess she had history with another rider in her group. I believe her name was Delora or something like that, or Dina. And they have some dialogue where she wins that race after she falls down in the last episode. She taunts her a little bit, and they get into a fist fight. And later on, when she's out just doing some recreational skateboarding and whatnot.
Which I love that, by the way. Because I skate. I try to skate when I have time and when it's not fucking freezing out. But so it's cool. I love seeing skateboarding in comics.
So she's skateboarding and just kind of doing her thing and hanging out and signing some autographs. And she notices that, the Laura chick, whatever, she pours too much crush into her bike, and the bike starts losing control and going crazy all over the place. While everyone's distracted, she notices that the other girl brought her whole stash of crush with her that she won from the previous night. So she goes to steal it. They see her. They go on a big race. Yeah. And all she keeps saying is shit, shit, shit. I noticed on every panel, for 2 panels.
It's funny. So have we had a chase scene in every single book, right? Like
Damn
this was a skateboard chase scene, but it's funny.
It's pretty much like a Jason Bourne movie. It's nothing but chasing.
Fast and the Furious.
If this girl stole that many times, she would be dead by now, right?
Man, she'd have her hands cut off depending on where you're from.
She's lucky. Yeah.
But so they chase her, they catch her, they start beating up on her, and the guy in the black leather motorcycle outfit pops up, and she sees him, and she's like, "Oh, is he gonna help me, or what is going to happen?" And he just basically crushes one of them open, and he just dumps it, and he kind of does this fissure kind of thing where he's disappearing, and he disappears, and she's like, "What?"
Yeah.
So as she's fighting the girl and the guys are hitting her and stuff, she cracks it open and drinks it, and they're like, "Don't eat that, kid. You're gonna kill yourself." But they don't realize that she can handle it, and then she just disappears, and that's pretty much where it ends.
Well, yeah, and then there's that little part at the end where her dad's burning that box with the same symbol on it that black leather clad motorcycle guy, he handed her a little tube of crush that had that symbol on it, and he knows something that she doesn't, and she watches him burning that box.
She's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm protecting us," or whatever, and it ends. So
yep.
I mean, it was good. It was a good read, a quick read, obviously, and they usually are. So.
I thought this was one of the better books of this storyline, just because we find out a lot more. And I don't know, did they explain in the last book that she was breaking down because her body wasn't having crush?
I think they mentioned it, yeah.
Okay, because I didn't realize that her body's actually physically needs it. I thought she would just did it, and I didn't know if that was a withdrawal type thing or if that was part of who she is or something.
Right. I don't know. It could tie in with the baby thing.
I think it's a withdrawal thing. I think she maybe... I read it as she's addicted to it or whatever. Physically addicted to it.
That's what I initially thought too, but now I'm wondering, she had it all around her as a baby and stuff, so I don't know if there's some kind of weird
DNA thing or something.
Yeah, something that's to do with her body that she needs it to.
And that's where I started thinking okay, maybe she's some weird experiment,
Right.
I don't know. I read that as whoever her parent was addicted to the stuff too, and when the car crashed, it just went everywhere in the car because her parent had a case of it or something.
Right.
I don't know because I feel just the way that was set up, it was specifically around her. You know what I mean?
But also, why is she the only one of the only people that can drink it? They made it very specific, that mechanic guy that was helping her dad in episode 1. Yeah. He blew up basically. Yeah. And then the chick, she made a clear thing. She's like, "Don't eat that, kid. You're gonna kill yourself." So they were really adamant about making a point that anybody who eats this stuff is going to die. But yet she's done it several times now. Yeah, she hasn't.
I'm not saying there's not something weird about her and her relationship to this drug. I don't know. I guess I just thought she was like addicted to it. Maybe that was, I don't know.
It's kind of like when I drink coffee, I turn into like a fucking superhero.
Yeah,
I'm like, the ability to focus and do extra shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
so there's another Wolverine or Logan spoiler. Sorry, it's a throwback because he takes this green juice, right, and then he just goes. And starts running.
I love that part. I was like, yes.
That's like 100% pre-workout. If you go to the gym and you drink
no
pre-workout,
pre-workout.
like, that's what it is,
that's when it kicks in. You drink it like a half an hour before, and you just get into your workout, and there it is.
Get all roided out.
Yeah.
Like
Pre-workout
just
is
start
so
raging.
good.
Yeah.
What did you think of this book, Ariel?
You know, this is the first time I jumped in, so I wasn't as invested. So it was like a fun read to me. It was very Fast and the Furious, like just an action, funny book.
Yeah, it's kind of like that for me too, man. It's like Pringles. I don't know. It's just like empty fucking salty goodness, I guess. I don't know. Like the art's cool, I guess. I don't really think it's anything special. I hate to say it, but I hate to say that because like I'm trying to do comic book art and it's so much better than I could ever do, you know. But like, I mean, like I don't.
But I think that's cool. I mean, sometimes
I dig it.
Taste is subjective. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can say something's well drawn and still not enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it is well drawn and their characterizations are really good. It's very stylized.
But
it's
it is
just,
very stylized, yeah.
I would never draw anything like this, I don't think.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I like stuff to be a little more clean and detailed and stuff like
And
that.
I did feel like, because you told me, I think, last book that you felt like they got a little too loose with some of their line work.
Yeah.
And I could see that in some of the panels. They did get that kind of storyboard type feel.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. Like,
Which I've seen worse. I mean,
Exactly.
like, The Few, you know, that's the case
The
in
Few
point.
drives me crazy with
they're,
that.
They're crazy with their line work, man. And, I mean,
this I felt was like tight enough where I still felt like part of the story and everything.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
could still make things out, but
it's still legible, totally. I mean, also, something about the lettering kind of, I don't know. I noticed it, and I don't. When I notice lettering, it normally means that it's not done well.
Away,
so I don't know if it may just be a font choice or something like that I didn't like. But I don't know. I'm ragging on it a lot, but I think it's a good book. I still think people should buy it and read it, and I think
I still look forward to it each week. Like when I see it's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's had its ups and downs. Like I think the last issue I said I really hated it because it was a down for me. But this one got me back into it, and I enjoyed this one. I think the skateboarding aspect of it really got me. Like I like that a lot.
Scene too. I don't know if I'm just showing my age or whatever, but like her hat and like her outfit and stuff, it reminded me of like Wesley Snipes from White Men Can't Jump.
Oh my gosh! I knew I'd seen that hat and outfit before. You were so right on that.
Oh man, that's what it reminded me of. I was like,
dude, she must have taken some character sheets.
I
from that or
don't
something.
know,
Like,
because like when I was reading it, I was like, back in my mind, I didn't say it out loud. I was like, I kind of want to watch White Men Can't Jump. I don't know why.
Did you guys see the cosplay at the end where someone cosplayed as Domino and her girlfriend?
That wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I wonder who. There's a story here. I'm sure. I didn't read it though. I never read.
Yeah,
it.
I saw that, but
book,
it seems like an interesting choice to decide to cosplay. Like, I mean, not a ton of people would probably recognize
very specific choice. Yeah, like no one's gonna know who you are for sure.
But I guess just
would,
fandom picks up hard on certain books.
Yeah.
I think these are probably like
people,
professional cosplayers or whatever. People that cosplay a lot. They're those people. So, star rating on this issue. What do you guys think?
I'd give it a 3.
Out of 10.
I know, a 3.
Oh, 3 out of 10. Shit!
And she made it clear earlier she's not invested because she hasn't read the other ones.
Slower than.
So I mean, there's that caveat too.
There's another podcast I listen to where they rate out of 10 stars, and if they really hate something, they give it a fuck you 5. So that's lower than a fuck you 5.
And that's the thing too that can be discussed at some point. It's like on those rating scales, like some people, like if you were just glancing at like a rating, like a video game, for instance, with like glitch and stuff. Like you'll hear on a podcast like Game Informer or whatever, they'll say like, 7.5, and that's to them that's still good. But if you think of a 7.5, you're like, it was kind of okay.
Yeah.
But,
I think of 7.5 is like, it was good, but it wasn't great. Like,
so sometimes it's nice to get that kind of background on like, okay, how bad is bad to you? Because some people might say a 5 is like middle of the road. I'm like, to me, a 5 is bad.
Yeah, I mean, especially because like like I said, recently I've been trying to draw like webcomics and stuff, and I know it. Like I can see now how fucking difficult this stuff is,
Right.
and so it's really hard for me to like give something a 5 or less because it's like, well, that's still pretty good. Like
There's still
That's
quality
why
in there.
I feel like a dick when I review some of these comics, just because I just don't prefer like the way that they drew them.
But as long as
Yeah.
you say that, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, I mean it's
Yeah.
honest
You know,
critique.
that's-
That's why we're here, is to talk about books that we
and
like
we're
or
one,
don't
and we're
like,
one.
you know?
We're each individuals and whatnot. And like we almost always say it. Somebody does, and it's like, hey, this was really good. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah. That's
So-
cool. So what would you rate this, Mondo?
I would probably give it a little higher. I would say maybe like a 6.5 or 7.
Cool.
It wasn't great, but it was it was fine for what it was, and it keeps the story going for me from reading the other one. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Andrew?
I'd probably give it a 7.5 just because I love the team that worked on this.
Babsar.
And I'm really into that style and everything. And I think there's enough outside of racing to keep this interesting in terms
Yeah.
of like character
I like where it's
development and
going.
story. So
Yeah.
me too.
So you
And-
said 7.5 then?
yeah.
I'm gonna go 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at
Right
7. We normally are.
We're
sit
usually
about-
right on top,
Yeah,
yeah.
You and me.
We
Yeah.
usually agree pretty close.
Yeah, I go 7 though, man. I think it was a good book. I don't think it's like, for me, nothing special. But I think like if you're into, I think if you like the Fast and the Furious movies and you like maybe like skateboarding or action type
Yeah.
culture, I guess. I
It's
don't
all
know how to
about
put
family.
that.
It's sort of a superficial type of story, right?
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
a lot of action. Like this would be a Fast and Furious movie, right?
Yeah,
Like, where it just
or
be, like,
a lot of
cheap thrills.
fashion too, like kind of millennial fashion.
Yeah.
Too,
Vin
like,
Diesel
yeah.
ends up being the guy with who takes his helmet
Yeah,
off.
he'd be the dad, right?
God,
like, you wanna join my family?
I hope that's Vin Diesel.
Be
That
my
would be so
family with
great.
Michelle
Yeah.
Rodriguez. I don't know. I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna glaze over that one now. So I think like good book, not great. I don't know.
Yeah.
Still read it if you're into that sort of thing. I'm so unorganized this week. Why don't we talk? Did you read Green Valley?
I did, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Green Valley then.
Yeah, let's talk about it because from what you guys were talking about, it was like this funny, go-lucky book.
In the beginning, it was more.
In the
so.
beginning, yeah.
It kind of got darker lately.
Like teared up a couple times. I'm like, what the hell, you guys?
Well, no, it's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets. So we're on issue 6. Creative team on this one's Max Landis, Giuseppe Camansali, Cliff Rathburn, and Jean-Francois Bouillet is the colorist. So I don't remember any of these dudes' names. I
just remember Bertwald.
Bertewald, who's the one that like got zapped back into like
Bertwald.
that was Bertewald. So
Yeah.
like
And he's kind of the leader of their group,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
they all look up to this
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, so Bertewald got zapped away last time, and we don't know like what happened to him. And the other knights like got chased off by this dinosaur that this sorcerer, quote sorcerer, summoned or whatever. And in this issue, we learned that this sorcerer is actually not a sorcerer. He's just this asshole from the future who knows how to time
He had
travel.
a really
Cyril.
dorky name.
Cyrus.
Yeah,
Cyril
Cyril.
or something
Yeah,
like that.
and his real name is what was it? Douglas Christie is his
Yeah, he
real
sounded
name.
just like your
Douglas
average,
Christie?
like, I'm a software developer for like,
Yeah.
a financial
Yep.
institution or something. I don't know.
Douglas Christie.
So
My name is Douglas.
so
Bertewald.
Bertewald got he didn't get killed. We thought he died, but he actually got zapped into the very distant future by these two scientists who explained to Bertewald that he's not actually a wizard. His real name's David Christie, and he just likes to like go back in time and steal shit and bring it to the current future. And
He's like Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
yeah.
He reminded me
A
like
little bit,
an art thief or something because he's just like
Yeah.
selling stuff on the black market.
I'm all
or
about the
whatever.
comparisons this week.
Yep. And these two scientists created like this time thing, and they were trying to trap David and capture him, but they trapped Bertewald instead. So then Bertewald gets sent back, and
Well, they explained to him what he is too.
Yeah.
What Cyril is.
Yeah.
But like he's not a wizard. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just using technology.
He's just a guy that
Yeah.
goes back and steal shit.
I loved how they taught. Like, I know this is an aside, but I loved how the scientists explained time as like it. They said all points in time are simultaneous, so everything's existing all at one time. And it was just kind of a cool. Like, I think about that weird stuff a lot. You know?
No, I like that
because-
stuff too.
Because they were trying to explain the danger he poses, because they said that each time he jumps, basically, it could tear
Reality
apart. So
Yeah, it disrupts the timeline.
Well, and I really like the concept of like two people from now trying to explain something like that to someone from another.
That's what I was gonna say.
From the distant past.
that was so funny.
Because think about the terminology that you would use. That is for us is everyday, use type stuff, and just using the word technology like that word wouldn't exist then.
Yeah,
but
he
how
was
else
like,
would you
tech
explain
what?
technology? It's like an all-encompassing word that tells you more about something than anything. It's just one word, and you get what it is. He's like, what is technology? You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is how I feel at my job right now, right? So, like, I work as an IT guy right now, and sometimes I feel like I'm trying to explain, like, like, what is a mouse? Like, where is the on button? I'm like, okay. The plastic thing that's glowing, you know what I mean?
Oh, that thing. The clickety guy.
I couldn't.
The clickety clacker.
No, I couldn't do that. I don't think for a living, and still like maintain professionalism.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know that I
it'd be
do.
Tough. Yeah.
Well, my wife isn't a tech person at all, but she's not that slow on tech either. But it's nice that my daughter, who's 14, is a nice buffer in that sense, because I pretty much give all my knowledge of stuff to her.
Yeah.
Like how to do things. Like, hey, this is how you reroute this. This is how you reboot this.
Up, right.
And so I'm like, when your mom, when I'm not around and your mom needs help, please assist me so she doesn't blow my phone up with text messages on how to like reboot the router.
What I feel like. Some other stuff happened in this issue. So the wizard or whatever, Cyril, came, basically came to this town and told them he wants all their weapons in a wheelbarrow by dawn or something.
Weapons and armor, yeah.
Yep, and he shot the little boy that came and asked the Knights of Calodia for help at the beginning of the story, and went away. So Bertewald got zapped back to this time period, and it's time for them to kick some ass, I think, in the next issue. So
I love how this guy talks too, because you just want to punch him right in the face.
Yeah, he's such a dick, man.
Because like he like shot that kid, and then he's like, all right, I'm out of here, deuces, or something like that. He's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about that guy saying deuces just really makes me want to punch him in the face.
It's also interesting, though, too, as far as the Knights. I think they're really breaking down. Like the other guy, I forget his name, Gulliver, who was the one that always told stories about dragons. Yeah,
I hope his name is Gulliver. That would be
Gulliver.
the best.
It is, yeah.
That's so great.
But he breaks down and just admits that he's a liar.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, no, you can't be a liar. These are the stories that we've been told for years, And then the other guy, who was Bertwald's like right-hand man, he's like breaking down and losing it. And he's like, I don't know what happened. He stung me with some weapon of his, which was a bullet in the shoulder.
Yeah. He was like a magic stone or
Yeah,
something.
he stung with a magic stone, He's like, and I laughed at that. But they're all breaking down, basically. They used to be these high and mighty like guys that just could, shoot the breeze and kick ass and not bat an eye. And now they're having their shit kicked in. You know what I mean? So I don't know. They're kind of having a moment.
This is like kind of their classic like come to Jesus moment, like humble yourself type thing. So
get back to basics.
Yeah.
Let's get it in, break them off. I don't know.
What do we think about the artwork on this book?
I always loved
So
that.
good.
I loved it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
perfect.
great, man.
This is like dude, the inking is so good, and
just everything.
The
like,
characterizations are just so good. They're that perfect blend of like
Cartoony and real.
real, but still like kind of cartoony.
The thing to me that always sticks out, if somebody can be on model, like if you can draw somebody from any angle, which they can, like you can recognize the different characters no matter what shot the artist chooses, and it's awesome to me. Like,
You've had me looking at that more since you brought it up a couple episodes back about that kind of thing. I've noticed that more with like certain books where it's like the character model you can like for any angle. It's like, okay, that's that Cyril douchebag guy.
That is. Yeah.
I can tell no matter what.
Yeah.
I think part of that is like just picking like I guess like facial, like he makes it, everyone looks pretty vastly different.
Definitely.
No one looks the same. Everyone looks like he kind of I don't know. He didn't really. He just created really good character, and
But I
that's
think
that's the writer too. I mean, the writer kind of.
Yeah, but I just mean I think you can. Usually, like when I pick up a book, if there's some generic looking characters, or if they all look like pretty
like in
similar,
the few, they look a lot alike.
Yeah.
Very close.
Yeah, and it's easy to be like kind of just automatically put off by that, you know?
Yeah. I think Walking Dead actually suffers from that a little bit when you read the book because it's in black and white and there's so many characters and it's. Yeah, I mean, like,
man, I follow it religiously, and I still have to like backtrack and be like,
wait, who was that?
Who was that again?
Yeah, you have such a hard time trying to keep up and figure out like who's who. I don't know, and yeah, so it's really cool with a book like this to have that. Another part is just like having a small enough number of characters that you can manage in a book. You know, like having like 30 cast members in a comic book is probably not the best idea.
I'd rather have quality over quantity, personally.
Yeah. Well, it's hard with Walking Dead. I almost wish they'd like branch it out into other story arcs, you know, and like have like this settlement's like comic book and this settlement, and then like have a crossover maybe once in a while where character. But like, you know, now it's because in the show in Walking Dead they kind of like they'll focus on one group of people every episode and you only get
Or
like
a specific person.
yeah 4 or 5 people tops per episode. But in the comic book they check in with everyone, and it's like it's really hard to keep up with. So. But getting back to this book, I don't know, man. I give it like an 8 out of 10. I think probably 8 stars. I don't know. What do you?
8.5.
Yeah,
8.5.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8.5 too. Cause
Cool.
It's hard because I honestly like I can't point to anything really and be like that's bad or like I don't really have any gripes with this book and I don't know what it would give it like a 10 for me. You know?
I think
I
I know
don't
what,
either.
I know what would give me a 10 is
What?
if this was all a volume, like, you know, like a volume 1.
Yeah.
Where they crammed like the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 books together. And I could read it all in one continuous read.
Yeah.
I was thinking
would
that too.
that would probably get me around a 9.5 or a 10.
Yeah.
Because these little bite-sized chunks, they're great and all, but it's like I want the whole meal. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
You know. But this is like it's good. It's enough to hold
But
me
isn't that what a
over.
good series should do, right?
It's
to
true.
keep you wanting
String
the
me
next,
along.
the next
Yeah,
one. So.
yeah. I don't know. I give it an 8.5 or 9. I guess. Like I really don't know what else they could do. I mean, like it's really good.
Yeah.
I think when they start fighting back, I think that's when it'll.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm waiting for is some payoff. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little more development in this issue, and it was a little slower, but I think it was all necessary. You
Absolutely,
know, I can't say that it was
Otherwise,
like,
that payoff later isn't going to be as big as it should be.
Yeah.
Do stuff like this. You know?
I mean, it's a great book, man. I love this book, so I always look forward to this one.
Same.
So, all right, we can talk Planetoid Praxis. So you got the number? You didn't read either of them, right? And you got the number
I read
one
number
read,
1, yeah.
and we both read both of them. So Planetoid Praxis.
I can do it if you want.
Yeah, sure.
So it's written and drawn by Ken Gari.
Oh, one guy did it.
Yeah,
Oh,
one guy
cool.
did everything. This book is a sequel to the miniseries Planetoid. The inhabitants of a distant planet have fought off their robot overlords and have established a settlement. Annika is the leader. So what looks like a spaceman is exploring their new territory, and he comes upon some children playing. He tells them that he heard that there was a settlement in the area, and his boss has sent him there to check it out. The kids take him to Annika, and they rip off his helmet, and they find out he's an Anomalo?
Yeah, he is.
Onomao or whatever,
Anomao?
something
Yeah,
like that.
some like yeah.
And apparently this is a race that, like, just tortured and captured everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So all the town people hate him, so they pretty much put him to death.
Yeah, they throw him like they kill him, like,
Yeah.
and that sucks because
Give it
like
to the people.
That really sucked.
yeah, because like I thought this guy looked like an innocent dude or whatever, but he
Then they went to his ship to try to figure out how he got here.
yeah, which I love the design of his ship. That was just so cool, man. It's like
like a
this.
junkyard
It's
thing,
this
right?
little ball that, like, yeah, like at the beginning, like you can see it. I thought that was like some weird thing hanging off, but it's like flames or whatever, and it's like propelling him to.
Yeah, it's like a lander or something, right?
Yeah. Get closer. to the mic, bud.
a lander.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, and I like the design of his helmet a lot too, where like this thing comes off the side, and later you see it like, where is it? It's like a light and it serves certain purposes. Like, I guess it's probably like a camera, and I know it's like a translation device as well. So, sorry, did I cut you off?
No,
in the middle?
not at all.
Okay.
The other thing too is that they're really concerned as to how he even got there, because apparently they have an EM radiation like a device or in the planet that doesn't allow ships to land, and if they come into the atmosphere, they just crash down to the Earth, and he lands perfectly fine. So they're like, how the hell did that happen? You know, and if he can get through, who else can get through that we don't want to even be here?
I'd really be interested to read the other, because this is another one where, like, because we read Think Tank #1 last week.
It references other episodes.
And it was like, oh, this is actually a mini-series that's, taken from another ongoing series, and this is the same thing.
Yeah.
So this makes me really want to go back and read, like, his other stuff, because, like, it reminds me of like a Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Wars type universe where it's like all these weird creatures. It's totally sci-fi, which I'm super into, and like just the shots that he set up like that is really nice.
With the shots and just the way that the story kind of unfolds in the beginning, Ariel and I were saying that it reminds us of Episode 7 for Star Wars, where like Rey is like going, salvaging parts and everything out by herself and kind of walking.
Great scene.
Yeah, it reminded me of that in the beginning, like as he's walking around and he's like, "Oh, take me to your leader," more or less. But
and this to me is like how a comic book should start. A #1 comic book should start is the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Page 9 is the first text, and like up to that, they're just like slowly leading you.
I like
in.
when they do that.
It's like
because it's like if you open a book and it's just immediately hitting you with tons of text,
like that.
you're like, man, I don't really like what I'm in for.
That's
here.
what turned me off with Pix. The Pixie one we read like last week, because as soon as you get into it, the very first panel was like bubble, 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 and they were full. It wasn't like, hey, and then that was all he said. It was like, I'm gonna tell you some stories, homie. Like we're gonna get into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is a lot of reading. Not that I don't want to read or anything, but it's just I don't want to be beat over the head with it either.
Yeah. It makes it feel more like a chore than
and I like just looking at like those first like 6 panels, like you said, the first pages. It was just like huge, cool scenes of like
really cool.
sci-fi.
Man,
look at the planet. Look at this. So
The little lizard he found. That was so
exactly. I like that.
It gives you they give you a sense of scale, like how big some of these ruins
It paints
are.
the picture.
Yeah, like
and everything.
Man, it's just
So I like
so
when it does
good.
that.
Like,
really
I don't
do.
know. I really, really like this book. It's just like
And then, like, I might have been looking too in depth to it, but I saw a parallel. Oh my god, between like the climate of discrimination that's going on right now. Like they see this man and they see what he looks like, so he's going to judge him based on what's
Before he even says
his
anything.
race has
just
done.
by his race. Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of like terrorism type thing or whatever.
Like
with,
Muslims,
like
you see one
yeah.
and you think, oh well.
Right.
Well, yeah, and they throw him to these people, and the people just like rip him.
Yeah.
Like the citizens of this city, just like they're like, well, let's just throw him to this.
Well,
to the people. and
they
see
even
what
have a tormented moment where they're talking amongst their leaders of the group, and they're like, "Hey, well, I don't want to do this bad thing. This guy, I don't want to kill him." They're like, "Well, we need to execute him. He did. Their people have done this, and this. We got to do something. Otherwise, all the people on the planet are going to be up our asses if we don't do something."
Yeah.
So they're met with a dilemma of like, okay, let's do what's right, or let's do what's going to make everybody feel better, kind of thing. And it's like,
Yeah, man, it was rough. I didn't think they were gonna kill him.
Yeah, me
to
neither.
the point where like when they did, it was like, oh shit, dude, they actually
Right.
went
And that
through
little
that.
girl,
like,
Zuri, she was so cute.
yeah, totally.
I figured they would have got like some kind of a device so they could tell what he like, so they can get answers out of him first. I think they were a bit hasty because for all they know,
they're
he could
totally
be
hasty.
he could have been warning them about something.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Annika mentions that. She goes, I wish we would have talked to him more before you guys ripped him a new one.
It was a bit hasty, man.
Yeah, but then you see like what his race of people did to
Yeah.
so it's like there's the other side of that where it's like his race of people tortured and torment but it's a complicated sort of thing to ponder, I guess, because it's like
they wove it in there well as far as it not being like beat over the head with you. They touched it and they kind of moved on, and so.
I mean, this guy wasn't like doing any, man, like he was just like there, like he wasn't meaning any harm. You know, like he was just talking to people or whatever.
Just goes to show how bad they really were to those people. Because he would
Yeah.
he could have been standing there eating like an ice cream cone and just slap out of his hand and just try to punch him in the face. Like he was enjoying a frosty treat. He just
Although
beat
I don't
his
know
ass.
how this guy would eat an ice cream cone, man. I love his character design because he just looks like a
So
brain.
creepy.
Like his head is just like
He's an ugly
like a
dude.
membrane of some sort,
He's
with
like
an eyeball.
He's like Red Skull without the
Yeah.
bones.
He makes Red Skull look sexy. Come on.
yeah, he does.
This
man.
dude is a piece of work over here.
And I want to read the other
Yeah.
stuff now. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back in the archives and see if I can find some of the older ones. So
Do you wanna
did
talk about
yeah,
book
did you want
two?
to do book 2?
So book 2 is 8 years after the execution of this guy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and Zuri and her father are out trying to scrap for metal or something, and they see new outsiders, like, camping out. So they go back, and they're kind of freaking out about it, and they realize these outsiders are from Helicore, which were the ones who created all those machines that had, that you saw the ruins of the machines that kind of trapped them. So they're kind of freaking out right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So is this more of a play towards what they were alluding to, or before they're like, okay, he made it onto the planet, and now these other people are starting to show up? Is that
No,
kind of
this
what
is
that?
like sort of almost like a separate thing. I think.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
from his race. Like this is like.
Like a
This
company.
is almost like LexCorp in DC.
Yeah.
You know, is like this big evil kind of company or whatever, and
Umbrella
they're
Corp.
yeah, and they just
Yeah.
showed up on this this planet, and they're building like this big dome thing. So yeah, go ahead.
Like all the ruins that you saw in the first book, those
Okay.
are all like leftovers of these machines that have kind of like enslaved the people. And these people have obviously killed the machines and took back their land. But the company that made the machines in the first place are back.
Yeah, yep. So I'm interested to see what comes of it. I almost want to read the older stuff before I continue reading this one because I think there is like history that kind of links that stuff to this. So, you know, I don't know. What would you give this book to, Ariel?
I actually wrote a review on the website for it, and I gave it a 9.
Oh, did you?
Nice.
Oh, nice. That's on
you really
indiecomic.ninja,
dug it.
by the way.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I give both number 1 and 2 a 9 out of 10. I think they're awesome. I think the artwork is like right on my alley, dude.
Yeah, I told you I didn't read this because of the artwork, but I think I was looking at a different Dark Horse book because this looks really cool.
Yeah,
wanna go back and
I was
read
about
this.
to say, like,
Yeah,
the
no.
artwork in this is amazing.
No, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
It's one guy, too. That's just really admirable.
He did all. So he did the
Story,
Wow.
Yeah.
art,
The inking, the
the
coloring,
ink, the
everything.
lettering.
That would take so long.
Yeah.
Like that's
Be
that's
so
awesome.
rewarding though when you
Oh,
got
it'd be
done.
great.
It'd take forever, like you said. Like
Yeah.
holy crap.
Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
'Cause
like
it's not like a like I could see like a concept artist, somebody who like works without lines, but there's like inking in
Yeah.
this, so like he did a lot of work for this.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see doing it. Like I have a loose script for a book that I like, and that's like my goal someday is just to make a book like by
Yeah.
myself, writing, lettering.
Oh, it'd be great.
And
but-
like I could see being able to do it eventually. You know, if it would be a lot of time.
it would be cool to know like how long this took him.
Yeah. Well, and it'd be cool to know how long the other one's been going on for. Sorry, I was trying to get to my phone before it started ringing on the computer because man, I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
figure out how to disconnect that.
I know because I used to really like I still like iMessages on my computer, but I don't know how to like make it mute them when I want to mute
Well,
them.
yeah, or like having the phone not ring on
Mm-hmm.
my computer. I hate that. So we're pretty far in here, and we still haven't talked about the graphic novel yet. So let's get over to
Yeah.
that. Paper Girls Volume 2. Actually, we have the actual Volume 2. Do you know where that is, Ariel?
I was super excited when we picked this one
Yeah.
again because I loved the first one. Raved
Yeah.
about it, gave it a 10.
Did you read the first one, Andrew?
I did. I did, and I think I was gone that week. I read up to I think I have 3 pages left, so I didn't get the very ending. So I don't know
wow.
exactly what
Okay.
happened.
Yeah.
But I really, really, really loved the first one.
Yeah, the very ending is where the kids go to the future, but they don't know it yet, and
That's what I was wondering.
and they show up, and like this little girl is confronted with the older version of herself.
Like they're in the middle of the street.
That's cool. And
Yeah.
does it just leave it there? Like,
Yeah, and that's where it's like to be continued.
And it
so
picks up.
So yeah, in this one it picks up and the weirdness just ensues, man. I don't want to really, I guess I don't really want to hard recap this one for people because I don't see benefit to spoiling this.
Give it
for
a super
people.
light.
I
recap.
don't even want to spoil it. I think we should do spoiler free on this one,
Okay.
if we can try to, because it's really. It's something I think
It's going to be tough because there's talking points that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try spoiler. Wow, that was bad. Let's try spoiler free for like 5 minutes, and then we'll and then we'll go into spoilers.
the word in that sense is going to be try.
Just a brief overview of
Okay.
it. So, like, just briefly overview of this. What did you guys think of Paper Girls as a whole?
I'm loving it. Just I don't know the whole concept of it all, and I think we mentioned on the when we read the first volume, it rings to like that whole like Stranger Things, Goonies kind of feel.
It
like
totally does.
it takes like that whole fun vibe of being a kid and the adventure and wonderment of like just roaming around with your buddies and like getting into trouble and stuff. You know what I mean?
So, do you think Volume 2 stayed true to that like Stranger Things type
definitely.
feel?
I think so even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
There's
Okay.
always even more creatures.
See, I felt like I lost that vibe in it because we left the 80s and like we went into the future, so it kind of like I lost that like sort of 80s vibe and traded it for like kind of a weird sci-fi thing like and this book got a lot weirder in the second volume. So I don't know, do you guys like the second volume as much as you like the first volume?
Well,
I think I actually do like the first volume a little bit more because the 80s aspect is really cool
Yeah.
and there's a lot more mystery.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. I would probably put this one just slightly below it, but the other one was better just because of that the nostalgia of it, the 80s and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool. How about you, Andrew?
You know, I didn't get through this book because I
Oh,
was
really?
reading some other stuff. But yeah, I mean, I loved the first book of
Okay.
it. So, and I think doing timepieces is always difficult, and mashing up timepieces is difficult, which is what is impressive about Green Valley. So, but I think like with some of the coloring choices that they've done, they've kind of kept the same, like a little bit of the Stranger Things feel to it, like that eerie kind of nostalgic, I don't know,
Sure.
mood.
Kind of like what you were saying, like time can get so messy, but it's so fluid. And even when there's like multiple of the same person,
Yeah.
the artist did really well, like
Well,
separating them.
And you still get that, like from their little, like their clothing, you still get that feel. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
They comment on that too and whatnot. Like the older version of her comments on the younger version.
Yeah.
Like what the hell are you wearing or
Outfit.
something?
She was kind of
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you got a little." I can't think of what she said exactly, but she's like, "You got a little such and such vibe going on."
I love how
I
depressed she
like
is.
that. Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, that's what I'm turning into.
Yeah. And I love the pop culture references throughout the book. They do it so well where they're not, like looking into the camera and winking at you or anything like that. But it's like it's there enough that they're acknowledging certain things and certain people.
Yeah.
Like the one that got me, and maybe like once again I'm probably showing my age, but when they're in the mall and they're like, KB Toys and Hobby, and I was like, I remember going to KB Toys when I was a
Yeah.
kid and getting a video game. Just things like that. They do really well of just tying it in there a little bit to kind of let you know the time period that they're in or music or whatever the case may be.
Sure. Yeah. I really like that. I like the part where she's like, Amazon's a bitch when she's like, where is Barnes and Noble's even or
Right.
Borders or whatever it is. Yeah, so we can go into spoilers now. I just wanted to do like a brief, so we're going to spoil this book from this point forward. So I would say like definitely don't listen to the spoiler portion of this unless you've read the book, because like it's something that I think is beneficial to read first without having it spoiled. So you guys mentioned talking points or whatever that you wanted to bring up. What do you got on this one?
Well, one of the things that I came across that I was kind of enjoying, but it was kind of cool, was that they're talking about how their future selves in this timeline, some of them aren't going to have such a hot future from the sounds of it. Like I forget her name,
Mac.
the one Mac. You know, she has leukemia.
Yeah.
she dies in like 3 years,
That sucks, man.
pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, from that point anyway. But or maybe was it when she was younger? I can't remember. 3 years from her age now.
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah.
Yeah. And
So she dies young.
Yeah, so she's like smoking a cigarette at one point, and then one of her friends is like, hey, you shouldn't do that. That's not good for you. And she's like, does it really fucking matter?
Yeah, like,
gonna
I'm
die
dead
in 3
anyway.
years.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, she's like, I might as well just enjoy myself. And then she flicks it. Like,
Can you
whatever.
imagine how much that would mess with you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't think I want to know that. Kind of
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
not
that's
at
pretty
all.
rough, man. Like,
Like-
yeah.
Like, here's the day.
Yeah,
Here's what
like
it
if somebody
happens.
came to you right now and said, "Do you want to know how you die and when?"
Like,
I'd
nope.
be like, "No, thank you, no fucking thank you."
I might want to know how.
yeah, I would.
Maybe
I would not. I want to know.
I think
how.
the how would drive me crazy.
I
think
know,
Well,
right? Because you like avoid you get hit by a car and you're like constantly like
I'm
trying not
never
to
getting
get
in a car
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
But then it happens in some weird, freaky way.
Yeah,
where like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
sitting in your house and some drunk guy
Like,
runs
runs
through your
in.
home and you're in your house. Like
Unavoidable, right?
I think
Yeah.
I'll turn into what's his face from like Final
Final
Destination.
Destination,
I just
yeah.
lock myself in a house and be constantly worried about every little thing. Like I can't have shoelaces in my shoes and I can't do this and I
Yeah.
can't do this. I turn into a neurotic mess. I really would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
anal about stuff as it is. I don't
Well,
need
how
help.
could you not think about it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I don't need any help in that category.
It's kind of like Chris Rock was like in what's the movie, the religious movie,
Dogma?
like Dogma.
Yeah.
He's like, Jesus told me how long I had left to live. It just took the flavor out of the last couple of years. Like I just didn't like it anymore.
I would look at everything because I'm so like my wife tells me all the time. She's like, you should have been like a detective, like like in a big city, because you look at stuff and you see stuff and things that I didn't even think about. And I was like, I know it's such a waste that I live in Iowa. I should
need
be
to
in
fight
New York
crime,
City.
right?
Yeah, or something like that. But it's like I think if I take that part about me and then somebody tells me that I'm gonna die this way, it'd be a wrap.
Yeah.
I don't think I
it'd
could
be the
handle it.
worst.
I would tear myself apart mentally.
Do you think they're going to change her? She's going to be able to change her future at all?
I don't know.
I
I
hope
thought they
so.
said that. I thought they they didn't
Maybe
say that.
since
She
they're in the
alluded
future
to
or
it.
something. I don't know.
Maybe, but they alluded that it doesn't matter how'd they say it? You die how you're going to die is what she said. I don't think that's necessarily in stone, but they alluded that you can't really change it.
Especially like something like leukemia.
Right, that's
I mean,
you.
That's cells in your body that's messed up. Like,
Right.
how can you change that?
No,
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to see her die. That's
Yeah.
sucks.
Do we not? How far in the future are they?
They're
Like, are they present?
2016.
Yeah, they're in our present time now,
Yeah.
but now they're not. Now, at the end of the story, they get shot some
other-
fucking
Back.
where else. I don't
Is
know.
it backwards
like,
again?
To like cave times.
I don't know about
Holy
that.
shit.
They don't really confirm or deny where
Have
it
you
is.
read?
But
Have you read the latest issue?
oh no,
Oh, holy
Oh,
crap.
see, there-
no, that because we got up to issue. This is issue 11. Is where volume
Okay,
2.
so 12
yeah.
you get more in depth.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another really cool moment was when they were at the mall and she finds that like hockey stick in that black hole and it says "Don't trust the other Aaron." I was like freaking out. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Because you're like, which one are they talking
Yeah.
about?
There's-
The older
there's
one,
3 of
or
them.
the
Yeah.
the one from the future that's young like her, but not like she's a little older than her. So there's
Yeah.
like the young one from the 80s. Then there's like one slightly older
Yeah.
that has a spacesuit on that knows everything and needs a talking device to
Yeah.
translate. So that's like, what's up with that part?
and like, even was she not this one not supposed to get the hockey stick? Was someone else supposed to get the hockey
Yeah,
stick?
like which Aaron was supposed to find this?
My mind was like boggled for a good 20 minutes.
I think I tied it together well and got it by the time the book ended. But for a little while there, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Which Aaron? Who? No.
Yeah, Brian K. Vaughan's really good about the mind
Yeah, I like that.
bending stuff. He does
Make me
that a
think.
lot in Saga.
And she decides that it's like the older one
Mm-hmm.
from our time. And I'm like, come on, that woman's lame. She's no danger.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust the future one.
Yeah, I really love the artwork on this book
Oh, yeah.
too. A
I do
lot.
too.
Yeah, like I love the way that this person draws characters. I don't know. There's something about just the way they draw eyes. I really like just they don't ink the bottoms of the eyes or whatever. They're just
Yeah.
kind of like empty
That's actually
spaces at the bottom.
semi-common to do, just to make or to make the top lid like a lot thicker. If you see on
Well, yeah, because that's like the shadow that it kind of creates
Yep.
across your eye or whatever. So yeah, I mean, and just something I don't know, man. Something about it's It looks like cartoony, but still sophisticated.
It has a classic feel to me for some reason. I can't quite pin it. I don't know if it's the inking or what, but
yeah, it does for sure. And I don't know. I just love how weird this volume got.
You know,
I think we're in for a little more weirdness.
Definitely.
So
the funny thing too, when they go to the older Aaron's house in 2016, and they go into the living room and they see the TV, they're like, "Is that it? What is that big box?" It's so skinny. She's like, it's a television. Flat. Yeah. And she's like, what? You know, and
yeah, that was awesome, man.
I've always talked about that kind of stuff, like how cool it'd be to take some stuff that we have now and show it to like your 12-year, like your kid self.
You'd be so stoked. I would have never carried like one of those big flat screens up any stairs. You know what I mean?
Like show your kid self like a cell phone, dude. Like you'd be like, what?
Yeah,
mind blown.
Speaking of younger selves, did you guys see at the end where they put the creators and pictures of their,
I love that.
their,
awesome.
their
I loved
yearbooks
it.
or whatever? And
I was like, why didn't I think of that?
Excerpts of like Halloween costumes and like favorite NES games and stuff. It's just awesome, man.
I love that so much. I want to steal it.
Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, I don't know, man. I give this book 10 out of 10, but I'm always like that with Brian K. Vaughan stuff. He wrote Saga, and you can kind of see Saga a little bit in this, like just little bits and pieces. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you at all
Say what?
see like Saga in this story at all?
Oh yeah, a little
Just
bit.
from, like,
a
the
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the creatures.
yeah, definitely.
Especially in at the very end, the green balls with the tentacle things that like wrap the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Yeah.
I've seen something very similar like that in Saga.
Yeah, he's definitely big on the weird creatures and stuff. So yeah.
I just dig the references and stuff, man, because they do it so well. Like normally that kind of stuff takes me out of it. You don't want to play a game and then all of a sudden it pop on the side, drink Sprite or something. That takes me out of it. I don't want my reality mixing in with it. But in this, they do it well. Like, even when they're riding their bikes and they see a sign in someone's yard that says Hillary Clinton for president, and then one of them's like, "Oh, we get a girl president," and it was like, that's kind of funny that they reference the stuff that we are dealing, we're dealing with, but that, and they don't do it in a weird way that makes you like, oh, why they got to put that in there? Why they have to do that? It's well done. I love it.
But it's cool. Like I think that's one of the cool things about time is to think about, okay, put myself in those kids' shoes. Like if I was a kid now, like what would I think about things?
Like some of the things are going on.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why is no one outside?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Like, why is no one outside? Is that what you
Who
said?
else rides bikes? Are there no kids in the future? Like,
I know, right?
Yeah. When you didn't have cell phones and all that crap, I mean, you was either play a game indoors with your buddies or go outside.
Yeah.
That's all I did. I was always outside.
I was always outside.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah. Until I got an N64.
game over.
Game
play
over
some of
for
that,
a
and then go outside for a while, and come back and play some of that.
What do you guys rate this?
10.
10.
10.
Easy.
Okay. Cool. Well, definitely pick up Paper Girls Volume 2. And if you pick up Volume 2, actually, issue number 12, I think, is out. It just came out this week, and you'll be all caught up. So it's a really good point to, like, if you can buy Volume 1 and 2 and then the issue that came out this week, then you're caught up to, like, the ongoing series. So from here on out, we'll probably start reading it, just as issues. So
I'm really glad whoever recommended that. I don't remember who it was, but...
Yeah, thank you. I forget who it was.
Again.
And then next week we're actually going to do Chew Volume 1, and that was one of our writers actually recommended that. Carl Hamlin recommended it, so I'm pretty excited to do that one. I've heard it's really good. So, did you guys have anything else for the listeners today?
I'll have a review of issue 12 up in the next couple of days.
Okay,
Nice.
sweet.
Be looking for
On
that.
indiecomic.ninja. Check out our written reviews that Ariel and a couple other talented people do. What's up?
I just wanted to give a shout out to Ryan Burke, the guy we interviewed. He made his Kickstarter funding, so they're going to go ahead with Coronary. I didn't know if you'd mentioned that last time.
I've been getting updates on my email through that from throwing something
cool.
at it. Yeah.
Ryan Burke was Dexter mentioned that he funded last week, so that was pretty cool.
It's always cool to see those indie creators.
Yeah, it is. I've pitched, or I've given to like 3 lately. I did him and
J.M. Bryan.
J.M. Bryan,
Yep.
and then Austin Hamlin, I think.
Yeah, and he made his too.
And he made his,
Yeah.
So all 3 of the ones I donated to actually
Yeah,
got
which is-
funded.
I need to
which is
check
great.
Austin's out. I haven't looked at his yet.
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love seeing those surveys come in my email. I know I'm going to be getting some cool comics in the mail, so definitely check those out. And we'll be reviewing copies of them when they come up.
That's a great
So
idea.
yeah, so and if you want to donate to us, you can do so at patreon.com/IndieComicNinja. We have all sorts of bonus content and rewards there for you if you choose to donate to us on a monthly basis, and just help us keep the lights on. So, yeah, we appreciate you guys listening, and we will see you same bat time, same bat channel next week. Bye.
Later.
Yo.
Bye.